All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Excuse me, my name is Kamipa with Makwa, Standing Bear, Soda Tribe, Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada Treaty, Fort Territory, Anishinaabe, 60s Scoop Survivor, published author, and welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, which really implies that we are the Medicine Circle, and that really implies that um, no one's kind of leaving this thing. We're all kind of sitting in the same circle. Looks like this. I am in, just a little clarification, I am in the service of this circle, and I'm in the service of the Great Spirit. So, yeah, that's kind of it. And really, the kind of deeper thing is kind of like we're all in the service of this circle, and we're all in the service of the Great Spirit. In fact, that's called Hollow Bones. And if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much, which really simply means that I want you to live your very best life connected to all of those spiritual health and spiritual wealth. And that's really what we do here. We just have a good time, and we pray, we talk about things, we talk about these beautiful connections and how we're related to everything. We laugh, we cry, and we just have a good time. And most importantly, the most important thing we do is we grow, and we grow together. That's the most important thing. And growth doesn't have a religion. That you can write down. Growth does not have a religion. Spiritual growth does not have a religion. Growth doesn't care what color you are. Like Mother Earth, right? It just cares about, hey, we want to help you. Will you allow yourself to be helped and be in line, not only for us but for the next 7 generations? Okay, so housekeeping. Okay, so if there's a lag in the audio, if there's a lag in the visual, there's like somebody gets frozen. Just know that I'm not. Or if I get kicked off, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hit that play button once again. We'll pick up right where we left off, and then we'll finish out the hour ish. I'll keep it to an hour. So anyway, today we really have to keep it to an hour because I'm going to see Mom today. So we have to be right out of the house at today at about 9. So anyway, so yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do some smudging. And you know what I'm going to ask? I need a little thumbs up for the here. Every child matters. There we go. Yeah, the woman the other day just wasn't happy with what we said. So there was a question the other day. Well, why don't you just get over it? Every child matters. Every child matters. And she said, well, basically, her retort was, every child matters, meaning that, well, all children matter, and not suggesting that it doesn't, but we're just suggesting that, every indigenous child matters because we are still getting apprehended, murdered, and slaughtered on anyway, so let us remember the prayers of the grandmother out in Vancouver. She suggested that we keep this smoke going throughout the morning meditation circle, and she pops on here from time to time. I haven't seen her here in a little bit. I saw her when we got back from France. But yeah, let's remember that when we walk with the grandmother's prayer, the life givers, kind of thing. So let's. It is the smoke that connects us all, both seen and unseen. So yes, okay, we got a volunteer to do that. Fantastic. What are we doing? Oh, we're doing the opening prayer. Okay, good. Okay, and if you would like to offer with me too, tobacco, that would be good, as my elder would say. That is good. little help from above. A little offering from Mother Earth. And then, Riti Yagana, Creator, Kitchimana 2, Creator, Chi Megwich, for our breath, Chi Megwich for our circle, Chi Megwich for this beautiful day, Chi Megwich for our lives. We come here today, we mean no harm in what we do. We are grateful for our last breath, and we are hopeful for our next, and we live in that place in between. We may come here for many reasons, but the first reason always is life, the celebration of life. And not just a celebration of our life, our individual life, because that would be selfish. We want to be selfless. So we come here. So we come here and we celebrate all life as if we were celebrating our own. All nations, circles, and tribes. Especially those nations, circles, and tribes that do not look like the two-legged, like the standing nations. The ones that offer the world breath, we say thank you. To the fish nations and the swimming nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water, we say thank you. To the wind nations, ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air, we say thank you. To the creepy crawlies and the slitheries, the ones who stay close and grounded to teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth, we say thank you. To the four-legged nations, circles, and tribes, so we understand how much you offer, what you teach us, and we are grateful and we are happy. And of course, to other two-legged nations, circles, and tribes, for we understand that you are our teachers as well, and this makes our ears and our hearts very happy. And we come here and we celebrate those things that give us life, air, water, fire, and earth. We celebrate all seven directions. We celebrate the ones that have come before us, our ancestors. And remember, they are our relatives here, which all life is. They are our relatives over there, and they still have something to offer. So we come from a million points of light and love and courage, strength, resilience, prayers, and love. Let us remember this. And it also has to be acknowledged that some of our two-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, abused, and traumatized, and they passed that along to us. And we understand the pain and the suffering, and we understand it's okay not to be okay, but we also understand that it's okay to heal. And it's also okay to understand that their wounds were not for us to carry, but for us to heal. And we don't heal just for ourselves. Again, that would be selfish. Let's be selfless. We come here today. We come here today for the next seven generations. When we only borrow this earth from our children, and our children are only loaned it to us. So we do not make a decision here until it affects them over there. If it negatively affects, we don't make that decision. So we live between two unseen worlds. And they are both here and present with us. They hear everything we say. The ancestors in the future, they're here in circle with us. So let's be mindful of what we say, how we say it, and what we do and how we do it. And there are teachings. And the ancestors, they gave us a trail to follow, a well-worn trail, one that we can only see with our hearts. It is the red road, the road of wellness, the road of all nations, circles, and tribes. For we, as indigenous, are caretakers of this road. We do not own this. We walk the way. Humility, love, truth, honesty, respect, courage, and wisdom. When we walk with these teachings, the seven grandfathers, we understand that this will lead us to the foundation of a good life. The healing. So we come here today and let us make good relations with these beautiful, unseen, powerful teachings represented in those animals that represents the wolf, the eagle, the turtle, the sabe, buffalo, bear, and beaver. Let us make good relations with these so we may understand the world that we live in, how to communicate and interact in a good way. Let us do things in a good way. We don't know how until we walk with these. And we move closer every moment that we sit together to remembering, understanding, and honoring the first agreement that ever was, the ancient agreement, the first law, the sacred law, the first prayer, the first fire, the first law that came from the first fire at the center of the universe, that is in the center of our hearts now, the prayer of harmony and balance. Oh, okay. All right. Well, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Kanipoet Makwa Standing Bear, and it's an honor for me to be here with you again. Yep. Um, a couple things before we start in earnest. Hollow bones. Yes, there was a question. Can you give us a hollow bones prayer? And that was just it right there. If there's a hollow bones prayer, so we want to align ourselves with their spiritual principles, those gods, those like the wolf, the eagle, the turtle, all these things that walk with those prayers. We want to walk with, honor, sit with, right? So the Great Spirit was really wise and gave teachings to those things that we could sit with, right? So it's not just those unseen things. So when we sit with the turtle, we sit with the truth, right? We're in close spiritual and physical proximity because everything mirrors itself, right? So close proximity. The wolf. We're going to talk about the wolf today a little bit. So yeah, hollow bones. That's we understand the more general definition. I really don't like using that word, but it's the way of life, right? Hollow bones. It's not something like a destination. It's not like, oh man, we'll get to that place called hollow bone. No, we actually live. We live in accordance with spiritual law to the very best of our ability. And today, we grow that much closer to it, man. And that's the beautiful thing. Like it's not some far out mystical place where we have to do all these ritualistic type things. No, the spirit. If it's from the spirit, it's really simple and it's really powerful. Like if it gets complicated, then I question whether we as two-leggeds had something to do with that because we like to, we like to screw everything up like a jelly donut. Just like kind of like let's make it really complicated. Well, really, it's just kind of let's just sit with, it's like the sunrise medicine. Well, what do? We just sit with it, right? And we honor, we say thank you. That's part of it. It's not complicated, right? So, anyway, hollow bones. We know there's a life force out there, and we want to connect two parts. We want to connect to that life force. That means we want to live in accordance with spiritual, natural, or sacred law. They're all the same thing, and all those things are the Great Spirit, right? In accordance, so we want to live in accordance with, and then the second part is we give prayers, and life, right? And that you can write down. So that means we offer what we are given, right? That you can write down too. And we are out of balance because we live in a world of takers where it's like okay to take more than what we need and not share any of it, right? That's the definition of colonial world if you want to write that down. But we give prayers, we give life, especially to those nation circles and tribes who wounded us. Praying for our enemies, right? That's a great way to find out how to live a good life, right? So, okay, ancestors and elders. So it's really traditional that we thank those that come before us, especially those that taught us. So for me, it would be the indigenous elders of Turtle Island. So thank you to Grandfather Tony Stonehawk. I've been with him for 30 years now. Thank you to all those men and women of medicine that I have sat with, especially those over at Fishing Lake First Nation who have guided me and taught me in a really good and beautiful and gentle way. So thank you for that. And just another teaching, and I'm kind of feeling compelled to kind of share this a lot. It's like what Grandfather Tony had taught me really early in my spiritual journey, to sit with as many elders as we possibly can to see, because there's so many right ways to do it, right? There's so, and we don't, you know, we're not in a place to question other elders, especially if we haven't been here for that long, like under 50 years. We have no right to question any other elders, right? Because that's just the way it is. So there's so many right ways to do it, right? So there's people say, well, that's the wrong way to do it, and you're not doing the way I was taught, and well, teaching me another right way to do it, So, okay, so circle medicine. So here we are. This is what circle medicine looks like. We are intertwined and overlapping. No one's in front of us. No one's behind us. No one's above us. No one is below us. That implies that we are equal. That only implies, that means we sit with that as if everything is equal. Like this part here is not any better than this part over here. And this part here is not any less than this part down here. We are all equal. Does not matter what direction you're from. If you're from the east, south, northwest, does not matter, right? And the beautiful thing is, the more we sit with that, the question of the day is, well, how do we know we have something to offer? Well, we sit in the circle. We sit in the circle. We all have something to offer, right? We talked about it yesterday. We carry, especially those. We had a lot of comments. I had like 15 comments yesterday, personal comments yesterday about yesterday's. I guess yesterday was really beautiful and powerful, and it was about how many different fires that we carry. We're not full bloods, right? There's this thing about full bloods are like better than everybody else, especially when it comes to the Red Road. That's not my belief. I believe that we all carry this beautiful fire, and we carry that beautiful fire that's represented in that. There was a little, I guess we'll move on to the question of the day. I'm going to hit Sacred Feminine here in a minute, but while we're here, so I guess some of you missed it. Well, one of those things, one of the comment was, well, I feel like a mutt and I feel less than, and when I go to indigenous circles, I feel less than because I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, I'm Polish, I'm this, I'm that, and then I come to an indigenous circle and I feel less than because, and really the opposite is really, let's reverse that. That's like colonial thinking, where it's really you were given a beautiful opportunity to carry all these beautiful fires from every location that your ancestors have been, right. And just sit with that, and if there's a beautiful definition for the Red Road, then that's another beautiful definition of the Red Road. We get to carry these beautiful fires from where we are. And we get to bring it to this thing called the Red Road. It is the road of wellness. So, we don't sit here at the Red Road saying, you're Irish, man. You got kind of screwed over there, man. You're just like, you're a recovering Catholic. You definitely have to go over there. Just kind of like you're from Morocco. You're definitely freaking really weird. You have to go somewhere else. No, it's not like that. But that's the colonial thinking, right? You carry that beautiful message and fire from those ancestors, and that's a beautiful place to honor, right? Honor that. And yesterday we talked about it at the solstice, and that's just like carrying that fire, allowing now that light is coming back closer to us, right? So that's a good time to have this conversation, allowing that beautiful fire, to your ancestral fire, to come back to you, right? And bringing tears to my eyes, right? And again, this is not about better, this is not full blood, and this is half blood and half breed and this and less than, not like that. That's a conversation that wounded people share, right? Let's be really clear about that. Healthy people don't say that, right? So why would we take criticism from unhealthy people, right? Healthy people say we are all equal here, right? And I learned that from my elder Tony, who's a full blood, right? He just we all have a place in the circle. Like if we were really to live, and here's another question: how do we live that medicine? Well, we come here, and we sit in the same circle. That's how we do it, right? So we come here and we love each other, right? Half breed, full blood. I love you guys, but I'm a little tired of that conversation, right? But as Grandfather Tony said, this is a time of great gentleness, right? As we move, as we grow, there's like this great awakening kind of happening, and this great shift. And part of that great shift is really understanding great compassion and great gentleness, because that's what really makes the magic happen. And that you can write down. Let's talk about Sacred Feminine. We're kind of doing like a little like this. So Sacred Feminine, leave it to the colonial world to marginalize the very things that give us life. Just think about that. That makes no sense. The life givers. Let's marginalize the life givers. Let's not, you are beautiful, powerful, sacred, and you are enough. And I need you to write that down. And this is one of those things that I want you to put on like next to your computer, next to your tablet. Make a little meme next to your phone, and like make that the screensaver shot type thing. Put it in, you're brushing your teeth. Do that next to the fridge, on the fridge. So, put it everywhere just to know. Just when you read it, right? In that close proximity to those beautiful things that we write, we become part of those beautiful, beautiful things. In fact, we're going to talk about that a little bit more today. Please give your questions, concerns, and comments. Coming some really beautiful, powerful comments yesterday. It was just a beautiful thing. When we talk about, the ancestral fires and where we really come from, it's just a beautiful thing, right? And it's just a beautiful thing, and so, and it's another way of saying that I love myself, right? I love myself and where I came from, because when you say like a mutt, then you're not really honoring your ancestors, right? You're just like saying you're basically saying that I'm less fit, right? You're buying into the fact, right? And then if we go to a reservation, and like say your father was full and your mother was something else, and well, like you're not really from here, you're not really one of us, and that's not the teaching, right? That comes from a hurt place, right? So let's not add any power to people that are making us feel powerless, right? We are here to empower each other, and maybe what you need to do is you need to step into that power and say, what, I carry beautiful medicine, and that you can write down. I carry beautiful, powerful medicine, and and I'm here to honor the circle, the honor of prayer, of harmony and balance. In fact, you can quote me on that and just be like, I'm here to honor myself and my ancestors, and I bring all my ancestry here to this table, to this fire, to celebrate with you. Right? That's what we need to do. Right? I love you here. I'm getting all fired up again, man. Just hold on, Sammy Bear. Now it's fired up there. So, I'll ease up on the coffee. I got it. I heard you. I got it. So, all right. So, anyway, we were here at that beautiful moment here a little bit early too. So what we do here is we read from one of two books. Yes. Both written by me. Whispers from the Hollow Bone and Daily Medicine. They are 7 sacred teachings, medicine wheel teachings. So basically what we do is we sit with them, right? The idea is to make good relations. That's why I was asked to write these books from the Great Spirit. So we kind of collectively, and then we can sit together with these, right? And again, we have a really good reading today. It's probably one of my favorites. So let's Whispers from the Hollow Bone. Whispers from the Hollow Bone, December 27th, which is my son's birthday, by the way. It's not why I picked that, but So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to read it a couple of times and develop a general impression, and we really want to hear from you. In fact, we're going to push that a little bit today. I love you. We really want it. I really want you to share your general impression here. There's about 20 of us in the circle right now. So we read one thing. There's going to be 21 general impressions. That's okay. This is not about right or wrong. This is understanding that it's okay to be different, right? Hey, this is what I think. This is what this is from our interpretation of the of what the Great Spirit is. And that's okay. This is not about, again, right or wrong, good or bad. We leave that conversation at the door, right? When we come here in this circle. So, without further ado, let's move ahead this way here. So, okay. So, Creator, Wishers Humble, and if we get a volunteer, Heather, okay, great. Heather, put that in there. So, okay, so Wishers from the Hollow Bone, December 27th. Creator, teach me to see things I cannot see with my eyes, and learn to listen to those things I cannot hear with my ears. Creator, teach me to see the things I cannot see with my eyes, and learn to listen to those things I cannot hear with my ears. Wow. Holy wow. Wow. What is that saying to you? What is that saying to you? There's so much going on here. There's so much beautiful, beautiful things. What is your general impression? Letitia, what is your, Kimberly, Heather, what is your general impression? What is this initially saying to you? Again, there's no right or wrong here. Let's begin as, like I was thinking about my spiritual journey the other day, and, like I had a problem starting, right? When we're kind of lost, lonely, scared, afraid, we don't know where to start, right? And so how many times did I go to grandfather, told me my elder, like, grandfather, I'm trying to do this, but where do I start? Well, start at the beginning. I'm like, okay, so let's start at the beginning. Creator, okay. Creator, Great Spirit, Kitchi Manitou, the first prayer, both seen and unseen. That's that beautiful place. The first prayer at the center of the universe, which is reflected in the fire that we all have. That's part of those things that make us all related, because we share the same prayer, the same prayer of life, and we are all offered that gift of life right now, right? So let's be grateful that we are here, and that we have the opportunity to learn and to grow, right? Okay, teach. What do they mean by teach? And let's always bring the medicine wheel here. I want you to write down, let it always begin with spirit. And, the elders, and Tony's not the only one that said that. This is a recurring, beautiful theme with those who have walked the red road for a really long time. That said, everything begins with prayer. If it doesn't begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin, right? Mm-hmm. And then we wonder why it goes sideways if we don't begin with prayer and begin with spirit, because we're setting that beautiful intention, right? I offer myself in a good way for my prayers to be heard. I want to understand that's part of that, part of living. What are we doing? Full circle. Part of, just so you know, I'm going live off 2 platforms. That's why I'm doing it. That's just, that was a comment the other day. Why I keep looking to your left, man? No, that's why. So anyway, that's part of living full circle. We are offering. We are sharing. So we offer ourselves for our prayers to be heard. We are offering tobacco for our prayers to be heard. So we are asking, and asking, praying without offering is spiritual stealing. I want you to write that down. And it's really one of those things that keeps humanity out of balance, because we live in a colonial world that just says, what, like it's like a Santa Claus God, right? Just like, well, I just need this. I'm not going to offer you anything because I need this because I'm selfish. And I'm not going to share anything that you give because it's mine, right? So it's just twisted, it's backwards, and it really twists our mind. It really, at the end of the day, it makes us feel sad, lonely, scared, afraid, depressed, alone, right? We can be in a room full of people and feel alone, because that's why we're doing it, because that's the medicine that they offer. So if you feel alone, I would suggest come here and start making offerings as quickly as you can. Beginning, teaching has a beginning too, right? So every day we have a new beginning. So there's people. We say thank you. They say the veil is finished. at first light, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the veil is thin, and it's finished also at night too. So that's the reason why, you know, Creator bookmarked the day, and you know, opening and closing the day with the veil being thin, because then we can offer our prayers. That's why we do that. So we're gratitude in the morning. We say thank you at night, right? You know, right? Hey, thank you, you know, and it doesn't matter what had to happen that day. Just like what, you know, thank you for life, right? Just thank you for the opportunity to, and you know, Grandfather Tony had me do what we affectionately call now the 30-day challenge. It's just like, and you know, there's a couple of you out there really doing the 30-day challenge. It's just opening the day with that beautiful prayer. How many people out there are opening the day? Hey, just gratitude and thank you. Allow me to be a conduit of your light, your power, right? You know. How many of us are, you know, really doing that and really opening the day the way of the spirit and, you know, way with the prayer? That's a really traditional thing. You know, I do that every morning. Like, I think I missed a couple months because I was traveling, but, you know, like other than that, right, I, 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 I open the day with prayer, and it's something that is it's just automatic. And that's the beginning of teaching, you know. Teach me how to live in a good way. Teach me how to love in a good way, you know. And again, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to move along here. Okay, so teach me. So, okay, this is really significant. This is real poignant. Let's not gloss over this. So, we really focus on the we, us, and our, right? We really do that. But sometimes, you know, Creator, the Great Spirit, yes, you know, puts on the proverbial brakes and say, look, man, you know, you have to do you now. You have to focus on you, and that's okay. So, they're telling us here, you know, let's be really clear. So usually, you know, we're talking about we, us, and ours, so we don't feel less lonely. But now they're saying, hey, the beginning of teaching, beginning of offering, the beginning of listening and learning and loving, humility begins with you, right? We can sit together all day long, but if you don't participate in your own life, in your own recovery, in your own personal spiritual education, then really, what do we got? Then our life will go sideways. We'll make really bad choices, like codependency. Like we'll put another person and say, well, I don't want to feel whole, but you're going to make me feel whole, right? So you have two on the whole people trying to make a whole person. That's called codependency, and you know it happens all the time, right? So people don't want to do the spiritual work, right? People just don't want to do the spiritual work. But here they're telling us, teach and me. That's telling us, in no uncertain terms, that you have to do the work. A price has to be paid. That's a line out of one of the greatest, you know, the greatest line out of any spiritual book I have ever read, and that's out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It says there's a line in there, a price has to be paid. That means we have to put some skin in the game. That means we don't get to show up, do this by photosynthesis or osmosis, and then we just can't slide up next to each other and be like, okay, I'm sitting next to a real spiritual person, so now I'm really spiritual, you know. And in some circles, you know, that's that arrogance and that ego when I just walk in the room that I'm suddenly really spiritual. But the fact is, teach me. So Creator is very clear. Creator, teach me. That is very, very clear. So it's poignant. It's basically pointing, this is the way to go, and this is how, and this is how we do it. And if we do want to get into that we, us, and our, look right next to you. Look in this circle. We have 21 beautiful, powerful people sitting right next to us, all talking about the me, making a better us, and that you can write down. That's beautiful and powerful. So, teach me, the individual. Okay. Teach. So that there's a level of awareness, right? The hope is over here we raise our level of awareness, right? In the colonial world is something else, right? They indoctrinate, so then they lower the level of awareness, right? And so they don't teach us that we are part of Mother Earth. Their religions specifically go against, the teachings of the sacred feminine and Mother Earth, right? So, so they teach a level of awareness that kind of dumbs the population down. Here we are strengthening our bonds. And I need you to write that. We are strengthening our bonds. Every time we sit together, we are strengthening ourselves and our bonds to each other with both seen and unseen. And now, Creator, teach me to see. Woo, wow. So so what are they talking about? This is beautiful. Just hang on. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go back to the medicine wheel. Okay, so we're talking about everything beginning with spirit, right? So let's just start. Okay, so we're beginning with spirit. Let's add now what? The seven sacred teachings. Okay. So what animal in the seven sacred series specifically talks about vision? Right. Right. That's very specific. So every animal specifically has, like all animals can see. Like I get that, right? Right. Beavers, buffalo, bone can see. But the eagle is specific, right? The hawk, right? That's in some medicine wheels too, right? So that has to be acknowledged. So the eagle and the hawk specifically, what they're talking about, love. So they're talking about teach me to love, right? Teach me to see, right? Right. Right. In fact, let's go right here. Okay. Red tail, right here, red tail, right from my Fishing Lake First Nation, red tail, right, right from Illinois, right from Illinois, right. So we hold these in a very, very beautiful, sacred manner, right, right, right. This is a place of humility, right, right, right. Let's step back. I mean, this is not a place of humiliation. Let's not get that confused, right? Let's understand that we as humans, we are really limited in what we can see, right? Right. We don't we don't wear these or use these to look cool, right? Right. This is to help us see those things we cannot see, right? These are our aids. These are our guides, right? We don't show, just, we wear these with absolute humility, and that you can write down. We wear these and use the medicine to guide us in absolute humility, not to look cool, but to remind us, look, the way the bear walks, right? Right. Same as the color orange. I don't wear this to look cool, but true as a place of honoring my ancestors, right? Mm-hmm. We use this, right? So we are limited in what we can see, and science has finally caught up to this fact that we as humans can only see a limited space on the light spectrum, right? Right. Hawks, eagles, right? They can see far beyond the greater spectrum that we can see, right? So we hold the medicine. We pray with the medicine. So we can see what beyond the teaching. Oh my God, there we are, the teachings that we cannot see here, specifically see otherwise, right? That means see what? Again, see spiritually, right? Right? Right. Please help me. Yes, God. Yeah, this is here. This is an ally. This is a presence. This is here. I want to help you. This is like one of those things that this feather is telling us now is here. Let me help you. And let me help you what? Be in alliance in accordance with what? Spiritual law. This isn't saying, hey, you know what, Lee, I want you to make more money. And that's, I want you to hold me until you make more. No, it doesn't say that. It says, here, help me align yourself, your vision, your spiritual vision, so you can see those things, that beautiful alignment that we can't see normally, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How beautiful is that? My God, creator. And then at the beginning of all this, it says creator. So creator created this to help guide us, to love us, so we can see those things, that beautiful alignment, so we can live a good, beautiful, powerful life, not only for ourselves, but for the next 7 generations, right? This works in every direction. This is not just one, like a one directional, like the east direction. If you want to hold it in these, I've held this in the morning because I want to see better, right? I love you. You know, and the eagle too, you know, you know. So we offer this, so we are being offered. So we accept in a really humble way. We say thank you. That's why we make offerings. When we find the medicine, we make offerings. God, well, thank you. You know what? Thank you. Because I have a hard time seeing. I'm, I have a hard time seeing that I need to love you. How about that? How about that? And that you can write down, but hold that medicine. Ask that medicine, right? I need help. It says being individual, right? That is so beautiful and so powerful. We are not alone. Someone knows that we are limited when we come into this world, right? That we are limited, but that we are friends and allies. It's not forcing us, but in a very loving, nudging way, that to celebrate that we are all one and that we are all here to help each other, right? The way the eagle and the hawk wants to be helped is to acknowledge them in the same circle, that we are, and that begins with gratitude. Just say thank you. Like even the smallest thing. Let's go back to the 30-day challenge. Beginning at sunrise, even the fact that we say thank you even helps us guide our way. It helps us what we see, right? Even without the feathers, just saying gratitude. There's so many ways that we can see the spiritual way, that unseen trail that our ancestors, this is the way that we do it, and like if we really want to get deep with this, right, want to get really deep, this has ancestors too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a one and done. This has a beautiful lineage, thousands and millions lineage from the beginning of time. This just got really big, really bold, really powerful, really quick, right? We hold this. We hold this. We make offerings, hey, help me see those things I cannot see with my own eyes. That's a beautiful prayer of humility, right? Thank you to God. Bringing tears to my eyes. It's just like thank you to the first eagle that ever was sent to us by Creator, sent to the circle of life by Creator to help what? To love us, to guide us in a really beautiful way, right here. This is a representation of all the eagles that ever was. This is a representation of all the red-tailed hawks that ever was right here. Right. How beautiful is that, right? So, yeah, actually, I think it was a question I got from Francine, do you want us to hold the feathers? And I said yes. I didn't put I don't think I did. I'm not sure if I made that a question a day or not. I'm not sure if I did. But yes, that's why, we want you to hold the medicine, even, when we hold the medicine is now flowing through us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here. There's a healing going on here. The touch is also included. So, the touch and then, the five senses are also involved here, right? Not only seeing, so it's all inclusive, not exclusive, right? We live in an exclusive world and in an all-inclusive life, right? So that's the deal, right? So the Creator teach me, the individual, as part of a circle, teach me to see the things I can't see. So, we talk about, Denise Miller talks about seeing beyond and beyond. Well, how can we do that without aid and help from above, right? Different perspectives, right? We see in a very, linear, like flat, horizontal type thing, right? Whereas in the eagle, the perspective is, flying down, it's looking down like this, so it gives us a whole new spiritual perspective on what the bigger picture, and it even sees, ultraviolet light, so it sees things on the spectrum that, again, we can't see, right? Help us see those things that we cannot see. So we can be, and it's always about alignment. This is always about alignment, But people ask, what's my purpose in life? Hey, well, let's start with alignment, right? And then, and then the purpose is to see your value and to find your gift, and then to finally to share that gift with the world, right? That's really the way it goes. And, you know, let's bring the first fire, see, fire. We talked about that in the very beginning. How can we see without the light? How the fire? If you dim the light of your own ancestry, then how are you going to see anything at all? And that you can write down. Right. Right. Be proud of who you are, what you are, and where you're from. And that's also right here too. Right. Okay. I'm fixing to get really fired up here. Just like, I'm gonna smudge everybody's face after that. I love it. So so there's so many beautiful ways to see, hear, feel, right? See, all five senses, right? Right. There's so many things I cannot see. Let's move on, and learn to listen to those things I cannot hear with my ears. Okay, so they're talking about sight specifically, and now they're talking about what? Ears and listening, right? Again, individual ears listening. So there's a formula here that I want you to write down. And Grandfather Tony was so beautiful and so gentle. So let's always begin with spirit. That's always a recurring theme, right? Let's begin. If it doesn't begin with spirit, then what? It doesn't begin, right? If it doesn't begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin. So listening, there's a beginning to listening too, right? Right? And it doesn't begin with our ears, right? Like we're that's part of it, but that's not all of it, and that's definitely not the end game of it, right? Right. So where it begins spiritually, and then we go to the sacred, spiritual, natural law teachings, right? Okay, so what is aligned with what they're trying to say here, right? Right. 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 Okay, so wolves, dogs, and like we all understand that wolves and dogs, they have a, they're in the same family, right? So, okay, so we understand that they hear things that we. So there's also, the scale there, the frequency scale, right? Right, the light spectrum, the frequency scale, right? So they can hear things that what we cannot hear. What is that? That's the wolf. And what is the wolf? Wolf is humility. And what is humility? Beginning with spirit. We are all related, right? I love you. You see how this is so. Hold on. Can you see this? Okay, there it is. See? Sacred. This is perfect. So the seven sacred law, the animal, seen, unseen, right here, right? This is how it is all grouped together, right? This is how it's all grouped together, right? Okay, so, all right, and one of those things that that grandfather taught me is that everything begins with humility. If we don't understand that we are all equal, then how can we love each other? Because then I'm only loving this, I'm only loving what I like, I'm only loving, I'm only loving my friend. Well, no, humility says we are all equal. That means we all have to share that love. That means, right? Humility. We are all equal. That's what that means, right? But so the wolf can hear. What are we supposed to be listening to? We're supposed to be listening to humility. And what is humility saying to you right now? Humility, unseen, has a voice. What is humility saying to you right now? What is the wolf saying to you right now? Right? Right. Do you even know you're even supposed to be listening to, sitting with, in a beautiful, sacred way, offering yourself to humility, right? Right? Humility and teaching, same thing, right? Right. Right. What is humility? Same thing, and the really obvious humility. Well, there's a couple obvious humilities. One of those things that I really have struggled with. I come from a place of heavy trauma, so I had a hard time, forgiving those who have hurt me. Right, that's humility. Right, the bottom line, and below that, that's humility. That's a lot of love, and I was incapable. I can tell you right now, I was completely incapable. of humility and of love. Completely okay. That's where I start. You know, like who here remembers my first Sweat Lodge story, right? I love to tell that story, but that's a place of humility, right? You know, when we and that story is really about I lasted 2 stones in my first where was where was I was in Illinois, and you know I told that story as part of my teaching. You know, teaching. The elders they told me, and everybody started calling me 2 stones. She's hey, stop 2 stones, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you know. But really, that's a beautiful place because that's not a place of humiliation. I think, like if we don't humble ourselves, I think, you know, that light at the end of the tunnel might be humiliation, right? You know, and I felt very humiliated, you know, my first lodge 30 some years ago when I only lasted 2 stones, right? You know, and I said, oh my God, you know, like I was this big, strapping, you know, 20 something years old, and you know, I could swim and bench press and run all this stuff, but I couldn't pray for you, right? I couldn't pray for you. I couldn't pray with you, and I couldn't pray for you. So I need you to write that down. Who are you willing to pray with, and who are you willing to pray for? And not as a place of belief, shame, guilt, but just as a place of humbling, knowing where you're at and what you need to do. Thank you to the wolf. Thank you to the eagle for us to see that. So we rely on the medicine to gauge where we are, right? You know, and it's really we're just interpreting where we are as far as spiritual growth. Again, this is not a place of you know, this is not a place of you know, blame, shame, guilt. You know, again, we have to leave that at the door. In fact, there was a person, and I even wrote, and you know, they were. I think they took a picture of the note and said, "I leave blame, shame, guilt, you know, when I enter this circle," and I think that's a really good idea, right? You know, so just write it down on a piece of paper. I leave blame, shame, guilt when I sit at this circle. And the bigger teaching is to take that wherever we go, right? This ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you. So take that blame, shame, guilt, and you know, don't add it in to don't dip into that at any point of any part of the day. You know, don't add that to you. And you're really what that looks like. Again, let's bring this full conversation. It's that, you know, you know, I'm Bulgarian, I'm Hungarian, I feel less than because, you know, I'm sitting in a certain, no, you see, you know, because now you're dipping into that blame, shame, guilt, just kind of like that shame, like, oh my God, I'm just like that, you know, oh God, now, oh my God, now I'm just a pretending, oh, now I'm just like, oh God, I didn't know, really bring that light to this circle, and this circle will mean that much brighter, and you and we will see that much further. That's how beautiful and powerful that is, right? So these are just some practical uses too, you know, practical, you know. So we are till what time is it? I have to run here. So practical uses to this beautiful, beautiful medicine. So let's. Okay, let's kind of read this, kind of wrap this up. I have to run out the door because I'm going to see Mom today. So, all right. Creator, teach me how to see those things I cannot see with my eyes, right? You know, asking for help, right? You know, that basically we're asking for help, but we cannot, you know, see what help we need, right? You know, and that's beautiful, right? Creator, help me when I cannot remember to help myself. That's what we're saying here, right? That's a beautiful, beautiful prayer, right? And remember, you know, let's remember to make offerings too. These offerings of, you know, tobacco, just saying, hey, thank you for this time and, you know, this circle, right? Thank you for bringing this beautiful flow. We are all beautiful, we are all powerful, we are all hollow bones. Let's remind each other how beautiful and powerful we are, especially when we are guided to see those things that we cannot see with our own eyes. We can see them together. Right, that's the beautiful thing. That's how the web of life really works. Okay, and learn to listen. Okay, I should probably touch that a little bit more. Learn to listen. Okay, we're gonna take a run on this a little bit. Okay, learn to listen. Listen to learn. Yeah, yeah. You know, we heard that a lot. You know, there's some things like how do we listen? Like that was a question from a lot. Like how do we listen? Well, be close proximity to spiritual. Spiritual. There's a spiritual circle, a virtual spiritual. Right? So spiritual circle. The physical. We're not quite physical there yet, but we're physically seeing each other. That's okay. Proximity is good. Sitting with, right, offering, and then what that's a setup to what listening, right? And we listen with all five senses, right? Right. Right. We listen with all five senses, and and they go directly to what the central nervous system, the brain. So it centralizes what we see here, into one thing, right? Right. Right, it centralizes that. Creator centralizes that, right? It runs through, and we're finding out now everything runs through what we see here and feel here, runs through right here because there's some what they call brain cells, literally that's separate from our central nervous system on our something that we knew as indigenous that there's a beautiful separation. They're connected to but separated from, right? That's a beautiful thing, right? So that means the heart and mind, that means the heart thinks independently of the mind, right? It's not just one linear thing. There's actually two separate things that to align us with to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life, right? Forgot where I was going with that. Okay, so we're talking about listening. Okay, being present, being all that. So they're sitting with, offering, and listening. Like again, what Grandfather Tony told me. We start at the beginning, and then we're all in, and then we make our offering. We can never make enough offerings. If you don't think offering helps you listen, then keep on offering until it does, right? And that you can write down here. There you go. Take two, right? Take two. Still making offerings, and there's some people out there that just make offerings all day, and that's a really beautiful thing, right? The more offerings we make, the more humility, the more things you receive, the more things you feel, and the more things like that, and that's the way it goes. Like a one and done, like that. Yeah, that's okay. Like keep doing that, but I would say, like that's like being gratitude once a day. I think that's good, but I think. We approach the realm of better, the more grateful we are, because there's not one situation that gratitude can't help. There's not one situation that another offering can't help, and you can write that down too. And that is my personal experience. Like you know what, I'm just so grateful, man. Because I come from a really hard place. So maybe food issues were like a little bit of my thing, right? Maybe could be just because I'm a bear, but there's some food issues, right? But I was so grateful, especially in early recovery for every meal that I had. Because there's behaviors, stemming from the trauma, got in the way of my eating, right? So now I'm just really grateful for everything. I'm real grateful for the medication, for the water, for the housing, for everything like that. And once we do that, it's a building block for greater and better things, like referring to, So, gratitude and thank you is a great way to see and listen better. So, it is all related. So, anyway, I really have to run. So, let us, I love you. Right. I love you. I love you, Evan, Beverly, Gwavid, Shelly, Kimberly. You're awesome. So let us close your eyes and just do this for like a real short meditation. Just close your eyes for a second. Let the Standing Nation guide us in a really good and beautiful way. Awkward. kept that a little short. Again, again, the final word is this ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you does not end. So let's take what we lived here, learned here, loved here, and listened to here, and take it out to the four winds. That means more than just hit that share button. That's the easy part. And then the part that will really strengthen us is when we take these teachings and we take it out there. That's when we strengthen the world. What we do here, we have changed the world by what we have done, and it doesn't take a lot of numbers. It takes the alignment with spiritual law. So we have really done a beautiful job to change this world. So take this out there to the four winds, because it's no good to be all spiritual here. My name is Kamipa with Mac Watts, Standing Bear. And if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great day. Bye-bye.